A trailer or preview is an advertisement or a commercial for a feature film that will be exhibited in the future at a cinema. The term trailer comes from their having originally been shown at the end of a feature film screening. The practice did not last long because patrons tended to leave the theatre after the films ended, but the name has stuck. Trailers are now shown before the film or a movie in a double feature begins. So, my group member and I, Denise, came up with a step-by-step for our trailer, as you can see, and we decided what should go in the trailer, even though we have further edited this. So the first thing that we said should go in the trailer is that the two sisters are walking across the road to their new family with luggage, and we see the parents welcoming them with open arms and a warm smile on their face. So it makes it look like they've been fostered into a nice, loving family, and the audience can get the concept of them moving in somewhere new with their suitcases. And we got inspiration from the stranger, and then we later further changed that to having still pictures of a house, then a happy family photo, because this is quicker and it's straight to the point, and it also means that we don't have to constantly be calling the actors to come down and refilm. We just have to take a picture and that's it. And we got inspiration from The Strangers. After watching the beginning of the trailer, we saw that it was more effective to use still pictures than to have the long shot of them walking into a new house. The second thing we wanted to have in the trailer was a happy family having a meal and watching a kid-friendly film together, or them in a park together as a family. So we just wanted to portray them as a loving family that do everything together and care and share with each other. The third thing we wanted to have was intense music that signifies a change, so the audience know that something has changed, that something bad is coming up, as you usually see and hear in horror films. And during this, we would see the parents creeping in to the older sister's room when she's sleeping, and she wakes up and she sees them and she's scared. She has a scared look on her face, and we just show her with covers, literally just like moving back onto the bed with the covers covering up to her mouth, so you can only covering up to her nose, so you can only see her eyes, and we would have an extreme close-up of her eyes and the look of fear in her eyes. And we wanted to have footsteps and we later developed that to just having footsteps being heard and a creaking door, and then maybe a straight cut of her eyes and the look of fear in her eyes, because it cuts out having to walk in and then her backing up. It's just quicker and shorter, more to the point. The fourth point we wanted to have was the next morning the older sister is getting dressed and we see marks and cuts on her body, but we later decided that we didn't want to have that in the trailer. The fifth point we wanted to have was the older sister comes to breakfast moody and frowning, and her younger sister asks and questions her on her mood, and she shouts at her and walks off. As I said just earlier, I wanted to show her being moody and always angry, and the audience being confused as to why she was like that. The sixth point I wanted to have was a close-up of the parents' eyes and head while sitting at the dinner table. So whilst the sister is questioning her and while she's moody, just the parents' eyes, maybe like with an expression like this or something, just looking down and then looking up. So it would seem a bit spooky as to why they're not putting their input into their foster daughter's behaviour. The seventh point I wanted to have was a close-up of the sister's eyes filled with tears, and we thought that we could use onions for this if it's hard for the person that's going to be playing the characters to cry naturally, but we decided that we didn't want to have it in the trailer again because it's just adding too much, and we wanted it to be more suspense and horrorful and not boring and just dragging on. The eighth point we wanted to have was the younger sister goes to the older sister's room to wake her up and sees that her clothes are gone, and she frantically runs to the parents to inform them with tears in her eyes and a shocked look on her face that the sister is no longer there. The ninth point we wanted to have was there's an official knock on the door. We decided to have a knock on the door, and the parents go to the front door, and instead of it being filmed from the parents' perspective, it's filmed from the police officer's perspective. So we wanted to just, instead of having getting another character, we'll just have a voiceover, and it would seem as if there's someone talking to the parents, but there's no one really there, it's just a voiceover to cut out like less characters as well. And we hear an official voice informing the parents that the older sister has not been found, and we see the younger sister behind behind the parents and crying, and this heavy crying is heard. The 10th one we wanted to have was the younger sister walking through a canal in Bow, that's around Sneezy's area, and it is very, very dark at night time, so that's why I wanted to use it, and it has natural lighting, so it seems even more scarier, and it has a long path. And then it would have been a long shot of the younger sister looking for the older sister, and she gets a text message from an unknown number saying, "Look behind you." As she looks behind her, she sees someone dressed in all black with all black, a bedsheet over them, and their hair down and face in the front of their face, and you can't identify them, and they look really scary and mysterious. And with either a white piece of paper saying "they killed me" in blood red, or we would have burnt the paper to make it look old, and like in pirate movies when their papers are like scrolls and it's like burnt the outside, we would have done that. We had two options, and the 11th thing in the trailer would have been a fast-paced short shot of the younger sister receiving more messages physically and mentally from her dead sister, and she eventually understands why her sister died. The 12th point was that the young girl confides in a friend after hearing about the messages. The friend thinks she's mental. The 13th shot was going to be a long shot of the friend walking into the parent's house, and this gives suggestion as to we don't know what she's going to do in the house, or she's going to tell, or she's just going to go in. The 14th shot was going to be dialogue saying so and so is not home from school, but you can come in and have a chat with us if you want to. And the 15th shot was going to be a heated row with the parents. As the girl tries to walk away, we see the parents with their hand over her mouth, pulling her back. And we thought that would leave suspense because we don't know whether she's going to die or she's going to kill them, or someone's going to come and save her.